Forgot to add myself to the stream there. That would have been bad. But anyway, bonus Tuesday stream today. Yeah. And I was in a bit of a rush to get started, if I'm going to be honest. So I just need to set up my second screen to show chat. When I say second screen, I mean my iPad. But anyway, so with like daylight savings time just happened on Sunday, which I didn't know until the other day, but it's really weird because usually it's dark when I'm streaming, and now it's not dark. It's like, you know what that, that's like? Just sitting around and then suddenly, oh, it's 8 already. But anyway, other than that, life's been going well. I did the bake sale. That was fun. Lots of bake. We've got quite a lot of, well, not quite a lot. We've eaten most. We had a few stuff left, a few bits left over, a few treats that we got to save for ourselves. Hey, Lightbolt, how goes it? I hope I'm not catching you at an inconvenient time. Special stream today, I see. Yes, half an hour earlier than I would usually do it on a completely different day. But it starts with a T, so it's sort of the same if you think about it. But anyway, it's good to see you. When does, like, do you do like daylight savings clocks going forward and stuff? Because not at all. School got let out early because of a storm warning, so perfect time. You're talking about it as though it's good news, but storm warning, is that like flooding, high speed wind? What? How worried should I be when you say storm warning? On a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being it's a light breeze, they're overreacting, and 10 being, oh, it's a hurricane, my house will probably collapse. But anyway, I hope you are safe then. But as mentioned in the Discord, unless there's something else we want to work on, I really want to try and develop some kind of steampunk. Zero. I live in Central Florida. We have guns enough to shoot it down. That's the most Florida thing I think I've heard you say. Well, maybe not. You've said a lot of things. But that... But no, sometimes. I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, as I said,
Turn that on.
I really want to get some work done on an airship convoy, like steampunk style, because I love steampunk. Like, it's my favorite thing. So, like, there's all these different kinds of aesthetics like cottagecore and stuff. What did you think of the hammerhead design that I came up with? 1 minute, let me just check. Military. Where did you get the picture? It looks Star Wars-esque. I think it does. Yeah, I agree. I think it could work quite well. And it, 1 minute, we can. Did we decide where the hammerhead waists go? 1 minute, it's from Star Wars, yeah. I can't. I don't know how I could tell. I think it's like the paint or something. Like just something about how it looks just screams Star Wars to me. But did we? Big splash of hot desert in Old Qatar. Okay, 1 minute. Let me just start sharing screen now before I forget. Give me a second. I just realized I'm like one misclick away from sharing the wrong screen, which probably wouldn't be ideal, but although it's not as actually, yeah, it would probably be pretty bad. But this big red bit, right? In the middle of Old Qatar. That's the hammerhead waist. Okay. I just make a new section here, I think. Alternatively, we could write this directly onto the website. The idea is that it is a former spaceport, and the wreckage of hundreds, if not thousands, of ships are strewn across the desert. That's a big spaceport. Like the really, really big spaceport. Depending on the scale of this map, that might be like bigger than Germany, or maybe about the same size. I'm not depending on the scale again. The spaceport itself would be at the center of it. The ships would have been all over the place trying to evacuate, and everything went down, and a lot of them crashed all over the region. Yeah. Which also means it would be home to a lot of scavengers. So do you want to write this on the Google Doc, or do you want to like write it directly onto the website? Because one minute. Okay, so I might just make a few notes here on the Google Doc before if we just figure out what we're writing. Hammerhead waist. A large desert in the middle of Old Qatar. It has a large and old spaceport, one of the biggest. Is it one of the biggest in Tangali or one of the biggest in like the known space? One of the biggest in Tangali. Biggest in the region. It's not like biggest in the whole planet. It's just, yeah, one of the biggest in the region. Oh, in the region of the galaxy. In the one of the biggest in the galactic region. During the rapture, one second. During the rapture, hundreds of thousands of millions of civilians tried to flee, and in a chaotic swarm of anything fit to fly. During this mass evacuation, many ships crashed or were sent down by the rapture. Were sent down directly by the rapture. The resulting graveyard of ships littered the area, and the toxic industrial and technological waste. Some more inspiration for the airships could be the concept art when in Fallout 4. Let me have a look at that. So I've been learning about like what's it called, waste management, and in computer science, in my computer science course. And a lot of computers have like toxic or deadly waste, deadly parts in them, like acid in their batteries and stuff like that. So I find it 100% feasible that these very high-tech ships would have stuff like that in them. Oh, that's so cool. That's pretty much exactly what I was thinking of, actually. That's so cool. I love it. Yeah. Thank you. So, and technological waste leaking out of the wreckages rendered the entire area inhospitable, and over time it died out and became a desert. Several large regions have been cordoned off by larger factions, and most convoys, due to the large amounts of radiation created by nuclear power plants on some of the larger ships. I remember the hammerhead waste being mentioned, but I can't remember like how. In what context did the video reference it? Like, why was it important? This graveyard has also become a much more significant. It has also become a haven. It wasn't really. It was only referenced as being the place that one of the convoys was left in the wake of the fall of the Empire. Which convoy? Was it the Thunder Sharks? Because I have all these notes up here. Convenient little. I watched the video and made a bunch of. If memory serves, it was the Thunder Sharks, but things have been moved around since then, and certain specific details of the video are being ignored, such as that. Fair enough. Med waste. A haven for what's it called? Scavengers. And several large factions have grown and settled in the empty hulls of ships picked clean. Okay. As a general note, or as a general set of notes, what do you think about that? Oh, 1 minute. Most famously, the hammerhead ships litter the region. They are some of the most abundant refuges with the design. That would be general design being replicated in hundreds of They are some of the most abundant ships rumored to have been acting as they're some of the most acting as guards, as security, military, and evacuation vessels during the evacuation. Are these like a heavy weaponry ship, or are they more like a patrol ship? They've got some heavy guns, some lighter guns. And they're not going to be really lighter equipped, but I also don't think if they're going to be really the most abundant, they won't be the most heavily equipped. So maybe they've got some heavy equipment, like some heavy guns, but not incredibly. More this a ship of the line, typical mass-produced stuff, jack of all trades, yeah. It's bought a wide range of weapons, design, and were designed to be able to fit a variety of needs as and when required. As such, with the universe, they would be known for being quite fast in advancing things. As such, they were fast, but not. They were fast, but without skimping on heavy weaponry and decent armor and shielding. So they're not the best ships, but you can be gosh darn sure that if you need something, they can at least do it. If you've lost your heavy ships, then they could fill that. If you've lost your lighter ships, then they could fill that role too. Maybe not to the same extent. But yeah. I'm just gonna head ships. Also support a range of emergency aid equipment, such as water recyclers, medical suites, and what else? And enough room for a few hundred passengers for a short time. Well, we might not be able to hold all of the required supplies to look after all these passengers, but we can hold them and take them somewhere where they can be better looked after, I think. What do you think? And then is this going to be where the airships are? Are they like slapped together from spare parts around the hammerhead waist? Or are they going to be made like somewhere else? Like, are they going to be centered elsewhere with more purpose-built airships? I forgot to put music on. I'm so sorry. I just realized it was so quiet. 1 minute. Into space. That seems appropriate. Okay, how's that? This would be where a lot of the airships come from. Good. Okay, I'm glad. A minute. Now I just need to think of a name. Do you have any ideas for a name for this? Where did the name, do you know where the name Cridwin came from for Fallout 4? I don't want to just rip them off, but maybe it could give us some ideas. No clue. Probably Latin for something. The Brotherhood of Steel uses Latin a lot. I'll just get Google Translate up. Give me a moment. Latin. Wait, airship. So, airship, one word, does not exist in the Latin language, which makes sense. But that is airship. Ship of Navum de Kalo. I think that's Kalo. I don't know. Okay, that actually means, like, directly translated, that's something like a ship from heaven, which I like, really. Okay, Navum de Kalo. Give me 1 moment, I need to turn the light on, it's getting a bit dark in here. Okay. So, a Perseus Gred stream. It is on a Tuesday of all days. Yeah. It's wild, isn't it? So we decided in the Discord that we wanted, I decided that I really wanted a steampunk style faction based around airships, because I love airships and I love steampunk. How are you guys? How was your Easter? My Easter was good. What's the title? Navin de Kalo. It means a ship from heaven, or ship or boat of the sky, or something of that along those lines. You hesitated. No, it was fine. I was just trying to decide if I wanted to say great, fine, or cool, or which synonym I wanted to use. I mean, it wasn't anything special. I got Easter eggs. Always a good start. All three at once. I also did the bake sale. That was fun. Grille. What? That sounds a bit like drool. But anyway. That sounds bad. Not good. A bake sale. Nice. Awesome. Gotta love a bake sale. I get to do baking and then I get to sell it for money. I didn't get to keep the money, it's all for charity, but beside the point. Oh, I mean grille. Oh, yes, that sounds... It does not sound like a compliment. This convoy developed from a scavenging group in the Hammerhead Waste. Next time I get a laptop, I'm not getting a Chromebook. Like, nothing uses Chrome. Nothing runs on Chrome OS. The convoy developed from a scavenging group in the Hammerhead Waste. The Hammerhead Waste, where are they? They are this big red bit here. Let me just get you caught up. The Hammerhead Waste are here, a nice big desert in the middle of old Qatar. It has an old spaceport, one of the biggest in the galactic region, right in the center. During the Rapture, when everything went badly, millions of civilians tried to flee in a chaotic swarm of anything fit to fly. During this mass evacuation, many ships crashed or were sent down directly by the Rapture. The resulting graveyard of ships littered the area, and the toxic industrial and technological waste leaking out of the wreckages rendered the entire area inhospitable, and over time it died out and became a desert. Several large regions have been cordoned off by larger factions and most convoys due to the large amount of radiation created by nuclear power plants on some of the larger ships. This graveyard has also become a haven for scavengers, and several large factions have grown and settled in the empty hulls of ships picked clean. And then the Hammerhead ships. Most famously, the Hammerhead ships litter the region. power plants, wouldn't that be power cores? Eh. Is there a difference? Because they just seem like two sides of the same coin. Well, famously the hammerhead ships littered the region. They are some of the most abundant ships, rumored to have been acting as security, military, and evacuation vessels during the evacuation. They support a wide range of weapons and were designed to be able to fit a variety of needs as and when required. As such, they were fast, but without skimping on heavy weaponry and decent armor and shielding. Well, there are nuclear submarines. What do they have? Did they have a nuclear power core or a nuclear power plant or nuclear reactor? Nuclear reactors. Google it. I think reactor is the right word. So the hammerhead ships, they're not the best ship at anything really, but if you have a job that needs doing, you can be gosh darn sure that the hammerhead ships will do it. Maybe not quite as effectively as any other ship, but you can fill any hole in the line really with these ships, and they can do it quite to a reasonable standard. Okay, now this airship steampunk faction, I'm not sure if we're actually going to use steam power, but I mean it is steampunk. They first developed steam-powered engines from some of the components, retrofitting old ship hulls to create production lines. Eventually, what sort of steam engines do they use? Because they're scavengers, I assume they use all sorts, like radioactive steam engines, coal, oil, electric. I can't imagine them using radioactive or like nuclear power, because that seems like it would be pretty difficult to get your hands on. Eventually, how do they start using airships? The hammerhead wastes are full of radioactive cores. Well, I mean, most of them have melted down as they would. So most of them are mostly unusable. There might be some useful parts in them, but if you can get past all the radiation and make it back to your group intact. Maybe they find one and realize it's a good way to travel, good and cheap and easy. I mean, yeah, but one second, I'm just going to do something. I need you to tell me, can you still hear me like this? Like, is it worse, better? I've just moved my headphones a bit. Eventually, the slightly worse, but Percebeth can hear me better. That audio is a bit more grainy. Considering how grainy it was last time I heard, I think we can do to avoid that. Okay, is that better, or Percebeth has this, but louder and clearer to me. Eventually, scavenger groups. One second, I'm just gonna do a bit of research into the history of airships. Where did airships come from? Okay, who had the original idea? History. So, Je suis Father Francesco Lana de Terzi. Lovely name, rolls off the tongue. So, Francesco, sometimes referred to as the father of aeronautics. What a title! Published a description of an aerial ship supported by 4 copper spheres from which air was evacuated. Although the basic principle is sound, such a craft was unrealizable then, and remains so to the present day, since external air pressure would cause the spheres to collapse unless their thickness was such as to make them too heavy to be buoyant. And the hot air balloon. The balloon caught fire without leaving the ground, but in a second demonstration it rose up to 95 meters in height. And then something called an atmospheric airship, where a model was displayed. It was an elongated balloon with a steam engine driving twin propellers suspended underneath. The lift of the balloon was estimated as 5 tons, and the car with the fuel was weighing 3.5 tons. And then in 1852, Henry Giffard made the first steam-powered airship and flew 27 kilometers. Okay. So basically, someone thought it would be a clever idea to put some hydrogen in a balloon, and a minute. Yeah. So pretty much someone just had a thought, you know what, let's do this thing. And then they did it and it worked. Scavenger groups from this faction. Eventually, groups from this faction began to experiment with Slack. Do any of you know how to change the email my account is connected to? I use my high school email, but I'm not in high school anymore. No clue. Sorry. You're telling me that your high school is getting my live notifications? What are they thinking? Who's this Gred? What is Twitch? Eventually, groups from this faction began to experiment with flight. And after various experimental designs and studying historic files, they settled on a what's it called? Primitive ash. The airship didn't fly very far at first, but over time was developed and the design perfected. Several more were built until it created they created a sizable fleet of varying sized ships. One minute, let me just have a look at this. The Pridwin. They have a fleet of airships. They use this fleet as a convoy. Transporting goods around old Qatar to trade. And also transporting scavenged goods around their territory in the Hammerhead Wastes. Flying over the waste is almost always safer than driving through. Well, almost. There are some things in the skies that would rather have them to itself. Flying through the sky is often safer than driving through the waste, but is by no means safe. Best not to think about those we've lost. Those areas where the skies are more dangerous, best not to think about those creatures. The airships are all equipped with heavy weapons systems to deal with the hazards you can fight. And the pilots try their best to avoid the hazards that you can't. I don't think creatures are going to be the only hazard in the what's it called? In the waste. This is like a good start-off point for this, a good introduction. I know, it just sounded cool, yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Let me just have a look at the templates for a bit of inspiration. A minute. So, history, we've done area of operation, we haven't done culture, we've done a bit of assets. So I've just thought of like a cool airship that they could have, and I'm not sure how to describe it, other than two airships attached with a thing in the middle. Like a part of the ship or cockpit or something. A minute. Just grabbing myself some water. This is your reminder, chat, to keep hydrated. Water is important. It keeps your body running. Will do. Getting water now. Good. Good to hear. Twin Cities is one of the largest airships in the in factions. What's it called? Arsenal? No. In the factions fleet. It's sports. 2 airship balloons. Not exactly a balloon, but close enough. It's got 2 airship balloons either side of the central structure. Due to the speed and enormous size of the airship, they are not very useful in combat and are extremely vulnerable to almost any kind of artillery or anti-air defense. I mean, no matter how much technological scrap, like stealth tech and scrambling and stuff to hide your presence, you can't hide an enormous airship. They don't use hydrogen. Oh man, where does helium come from? Where does helium come from? A minute. So helium comes from helium on Earth comes from process of radioactive elements such as uranium and thorium decay into uranium and so radioactive decay of natural radioactive elements. Helium also gets into the natural gas that oil and gas drillers extract from the ground for use as fuel. That gives us a supply we can use for blowing up balloons. And then there aren't many places with natural gas fields that have enough helium in them. Extracting helium is hard to do efficiently and affordably. Okay, so potentially they could source their helium for their ships from the what's it called? from the old nuclear reactors. They used helium to provide the lift needed much of which comes from the decaying radioactive materials in the old reactor cores. I think I just accidentally changed the music, but that's okay with me. That's not how you spell radioactive. Anyway, so due to the speed and enormous size of the airships, they are not very useful in combat and are extremely vulnerable to almost any kind of artillery or anti-air defense. Okay, what else can we say about this? We talked a little about the history. What relationships do they have with other factions? I can say a little bit more. They are propelled by onboard steam engines. Or maybe we try to fill in the gap in capabilities of the airships. Well, they're not using the airships for combat because they can't really. So I'm not sure. I mean, if the other side doesn't have anything to combat air, however, what would their relationship be with the Empire, the Brotherhood, the British Machine, the Thunder Sharks, so on? However, not many factions have air defenses due to what doesn't have anything to combat air. I'm just saying, not many factions have air defenses due to the rarity. So when they can, they press this advantage. The airship convoy. With airships, they're slow and kind of hard to miss. So against anyone with air defense of any kind, planes, anti-air machine guns, or even artillery really, they wouldn't be hard to hit. So So not all factions would have the resources to spare for air defense just in case it might happen. Obviously some would, like the Kathagi Empire. And I wouldn't be surprised to learn the Brotherhood had some self-propelled artillery or air defense pieces. So the airships are still equipped with this capability. The Brotherhood has what are effectively mobile fortress super heavy tanks. These tanks have repurposed naval turrets. Yeah, I figured. I mean, not that you'd want to fight the Brotherhood anyway, even if you could stay in the air. Even if they couldn't hit you when you're in the air, because you have to come down eventually. And the Brotherhood's probably one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful faction in the entire region. So, they do have military capabilities on their airships in case they can use them. Well, what do they do in the case that they can't? Not to mention the Brotherhood has at least one air warship, along with several capable aircraft, albeit most of them being transporters, but they probably have a good squadron or two of fighter craft. So this convoy has sort of like they've sort of focused a lot on the lighter than air flight. So airships, maybe hot air balloons and things like that. Well, I can imagine the Brotherhood focusing more on planes and heavier than air aircraft. And yeah, you don't want to fight the Brotherhood anyway, so what would you say their relationship with the Brotherhood is? They use steam power. They would probably only have propeller-based aircraft, maybe some experiments into jet-based stuff. Yeah. So the airships are still equipped with this capability. Imagine having a carrier, like being able to use airships as carriers. Anyway. That's what the Brotherhood's sole airship is. A carrier for their mech crews. Fair enough. I'm imagining like their mech suits dropping down on the wires into the middle of a battlefield. Is that like kind of what it is, or is it something different? Is it like a parachute, pretty much? The suits are predominantly utilized in places where giant hordes of cars with predominantly small arms wouldn't be affected. Yes, incredibly hilly, rocky terrain where cars just wouldn't. Like the kind of terrain where goats would be better than a car. To be honest, most of the time I'm not fond of walkers, but I can see them being. I just don't see them working, but I think I can see them working in certain situations like this. Where did the Brotherhood get their airship from? I actually want to see more walker-based convoys. Yeah, fair enough. Like the what's it called? Like the clans of the Roman Titans. Unrelated, but I think the Brotherhood has been a thing in this world so far that I forgot that it wasn't. I forgot that it wasn't from the original video. I was like, oh yeah, that's just always been here. Brotherhood's war airship is a repurposed Hammerhead spaceship from the Hammerhead waste. I take that as a compliment. Yeah, like it just fits in really well with the world, and it's just been here so long that I forgot that like it just wasn't always there. It's actually the first faction ever made for the project, all the way back in the old server. Yeah, I think I made the first waste for the project, the kudzu waste, and then a couple of weeks back, I think I started working on that again with someone who, I think it might have been Bobicus or someone else who joined. But anyway. So did the Brotherhood make their own airship, or did they buy it from someone? Basically, what I'm getting at is, do you want to make it that like they bought it off this, or do you think that would not work, or do you already have plans for where the Brotherhood got it from? Because I'm just thinking like a good way to try and appease. They would have made it. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I have an idea for the endgame event of this for this era of the world. Yeah. I didn't realize we were going to have an endgame event, but sounds good. So, not an ending of the world, just ending of this chapter, so it's fair enough. They also have a few airships capable of carrying ground troops for events when their airships are appropriate. Okay, now general culture. Culture. I have no ideas. So what's your ending for the end? No, what's your idea for the end game of this era? I'm gonna ask the Discord to see if they have any ideas for the culture. Nothing concrete is the idea that a group caused the original apocalypse and they return once more. Ooh! That could be interesting. That could give us some more concrete ideas on what on earth happened in the first place. Anyway. The only issue is that I wouldn't feel quite comfortable bringing it to the top. So it sounds realistically there in the server as it sounds realistically there is you, me and Don. Don rarely ever takes my ideas too well. I mean, they're just ideas. Like, there's no harm in suggesting one. Like, if you think this could be a cool idea, and then if people like it, we can use it. If people don't like it, we can either tweak it, develop it, or come up with something new. I've had ideas sometimes, and people have just told me that it's not outright said that's a silly idea, but they've been like, I don't really like that idea, and we've talked about it, and we've either improved it or moved on from it. But either way, we need more staff. What for? I can see us needing more staff, but what do we need the staff to do? General development of the project. Fair enough. Realistically, we only have 3 people. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a reason why you're in charge, because if it had been up to me, we would have continued doing the Google Doc style thing with people just suggesting ideas. So like 5 to 7 is what we need. Fair enough. I'm trying to think of more ideas for this, but I'm drawing a blank. I'll just see if moving on to something else can help get creative juices flowing. There could be a culture of wing walkers, of people walking on top of the balloons. Could be a rite of passage, maybe tightrope walks between balloons. Unfortunately, I have to head out for dinner, but this has been fun. Well, that's fine. I'm really glad you could join us, as always. Have a great dinner. I hope you enjoy it. And have a great week. See you on Thursday, hopefully. Anyway, I'm trying to get something done for the 5 Cities War. Okay. So it started after the Glass Wall Crusade and the gladiators and slaves taking the city. The Emperor knew that they needed to regain control. the fall of Glass Wall, being one of the richest cities in the empire, had the potential to significantly harm the Carthage Empire's However, it also acted as a destabilizing factor. Encouraging slaves that things could be better and they could fight to free themselves. A number of cities under the empire resolved to retake Glass Wall in the name of the Carthage Empire. GredtheAceAllay, the economic center of the region, and Kiev, a military Kiev, a military stronghold, united their forces and prepared for war. Glass Wall, being a newly independent faction, just coming out of a violent revolution, knew that they couldn't win a war by themselves. They needed to establish themselves quickly. Quickly make allies and ethnic allies and what's it called? Enforce their position as an independent nation. Also, having been cut off from the GredtheAceAllay empires, what's it called? Extensive logistics network. They needed to claim territory in order to supply their own resources. They were supported in the fight for independence by a couple of rogue states outside of the GredtheAceAllay Empire's influence. While they had been ideologically opposed to the Empire for a while, it wasn't until Glass Wall's independence that they risked doing anything about it. One second. I forgot to list which ones they were. Zod, Habu, and Azku. Glasswall also managed to secure the support of Marvin's blood machine. The convoy had been restricted by the GredtheAceAllay Empire and had what's it called when you like have skirmishes? I had skirmishes with them before. Hello Social Chat, welcome to stream. I started working on the Hammerhead Waste, but because I wanted to develop the, as I said in Discord, I wanted to develop the steampunk airship convoy, but I was really struggling to think of specific ideas for the for their culture and history and anything specific beyond cool airship. So right now I'm doing the 5 Cities War. So if you have if you want me to, I can catch you up on what I've written so far. Any ideas, you can throw them forwards. Do you want me to catch you up, or are you good just to what's it called? Or are you good? I had skirmishes with them before. Seeing glass walls. I can read along. Okay. Glass walls growing. List of allies, including a prime convoy. So Harley made a deal with the Thunder Sharks. So Harley made a deal with the Thunder Sharks. Showing their loyalty in the coming war. Okay, what would the first battle of the Glass War Crusade be? Would they march straight to Glass War, hoping to take them out quickly? Or, since they've already got allies and they've started to establish trade routes and logistics networks, who struck first? Well, Glass War does not want this war. They really don't. They've just declared independence. They're just coming out of a violent, what's it called? War for a violent revolution. They need to establish their security. They need to establish stability and trade networks and all of the things that something might try to attack the logistics network, almost like a siege. There may be it can be a crossroad right outside Glass Wall. It really depends, because if they think that this is going to be a fast war, if they think, they're small, it doesn't really matter if he's got some allies, we can knock them out quickly. And then the allies will back out as soon as their main, cementing figure is gone. If they think that they can just easily sweep in and destroy Glass Wall, then that's what they'll do. If they think, oof, this might be a longer war than we had hoped, then they'll go for the supply network. I think I prefer the idea of them just marching straight to Glass Wall. First up of any attack is to seize logistics network of your own crossroads and the like of your own. Crossroads and the like are important to that, and Glass Wall can press their independence by taking their defense to the field. The second siege of glass wall. Two possible routes. They expect a quick victory and don't care about large casualties due to a rapid reckless assault. 2, they decide to play it safe and play the long game because they have the resources to last and attack the logistics networks and important defense nodes. Is it odd having the first battle be the second siege of Glass Wall? The first battle of the war took place as the combined GredtheAceAllay forces marched straight to Glass Wall, hoping to knock them out of the war and reclaim the city within a couple of weeks at most. The idea was that once the main point, the main figure, what's it called? Like the main, like the reason everyone's fighting. Victors name the battles, and the winners might want to harken back to the earlier siege. So what would you call it? What is Glass Wall? They are the reason everyone's fighting. So they want to knock out the main. I hate words. I wish I could just think of the vibe and it would fill it in for me. What was like Captain America and Katniss Everdeen? They were like symbols or Battle of the Gate of Shards. I like that. I really like that. Figurehead. The main figurehead. The idea was that once the main figurehead was out, was obliterated in a rapid assault, the rest would bow out. As the CKF, with the combined GredtheAceAllay forces approached, they attempted to take key logistics nodes right outside the city to make, not to starve, they're not just going to sit and wait, to make the coming assault easier and prevent backup from getting to the city. I'm not sure. So would the Gate of Shards be right outside the city, or like further forward? Would there be another gate, an outer wall? Because Glass Wall is named that because it's surrounded on 3 sides by like obsidian cliffs. Which make it highly defendable, actually. And probably the only reason the revolution succeeded is because they didn't need to get past the wall. main city is in the little, like, safe little nook inside the glass walls. But would there be an outer wall, wouldn't there, where all the farms and stuff are? I'm imagining it being a mile or so away. A mile. How far is that? 1 second. Give me a moment to convert that. About 1.5 kilometers. A place where roads meet and head towards the city since there's a natural bottleneck. The forces of glass wall met the Cathagi forces at the Gate of Shards. A couple of kilometers away from the city, away from the main city. Do we want this to end in success with the glass wall, or is it like maybe the cliff teeters off there, creating a shard-like effect in places where obsidian re-emerges from the ground? 1 minute, let me just go down to the glass wall. The Gate of Shards. What would you call that little nook? At the end of the... Wait, isn't it just a valley? Valley? Alcove? Where the city is situated. The glass cliffs start to taper off, creating a shard-like effect in places where obsidian re-emerges from the ground. Vale Pass Ravine? At the end of the... I'll just check the definition, see which one works best. Vale definition. Valley, used in place names or as a poetic term. It's not a path, I don't think, because it has an end. And just check ravine. A deep, narrow gorge with steep sides. I'll call it a vale. There is a narrow path here where convoys can travel through, making it one of the easiest places to defend. So, Gate of Shards. And then the second Siege of Glass Wall. Backup hadn't arrived from the Allies yet, and the Glass Wall forces were largely outnumbered. They had the advantage at the home court advantage, as well as the large fortress like gates to stop the opposing army. So how do we want this to play out? Because we could have it go extremely well for the Glass Wall forces, and they push the Cathari forces away. But it's called the second Siege of Glass Wall, so I imagine it takes a little bit longer. We're going to have it like sort of fight to a standstill, where no matter how many forces the combined Cathari forces throw at this wall, they just can't get past. I think that's the one I want to go with, because if the Cathari forces just got straight through the wall, they would go straight to the city. It wouldn't be like a siege, it would just be a march to the city. What do you think? Pirate Cathari victory at the gate, but maybe they lose their artillery. They can't get into Glass Wall proper. Okay, so let's say pirate victory. That sounds familiar. 1 minute. Pirate victory. A victory that inflicts such a devastating toll on the victor that it is tantamount to defeat. Such a victory negates any true sense of achievement or damages long-term progress. After several days of fighting with the combined Cathari forces throwing themselves at the wall, they eventually managed to break through. It proved to be a Pyrrhic victory. However, as the loss of their artillery meant they were unable to that meant that artillery meant that while they while they were able to march to the glass wall city walls, they were completely incapable of inflicting any meaningful damage. They were able to march to the glass wall city walls over the following day, despite the best efforts defenders to slow them down. Any meaningful damage on the city. The enemy forces had also been able to retreat, meaning losses on glass walls side were too low to justify the cost of the victory. How does that sound? What do you think of that? Pretty good? Thank you. Scroll up, please, I zoned out. Okay, well, how much do you still need to read? Where did you last zone out? I need to go to the toilet. Last paragraph. Okay. I need to go to the toilet for a second, so I guess talk among yourselves. Think about, I don't know, what you want to happen next in the Five Cities War. Don't burn down chat. I'm looking at you, Percival. Okay, 1 minute.
Hello? You alright? Someone made a noise and the dog barked.
I'm back. burn everything while he's gone. Glass wall, knowing every inch of the wall, and maybe back of our eyes. Just driven back at the first attempt. With glass wall knowing every inch of the wall, and the Allied forces being able to assault both sides, it would be easier to take back than it was to lose. The Catholics aren't totally incompetent, and even if they lose the war, they are going to win some battles. Since the glass wall is a major power by the present day, I was thinking that the walls never fall, something that would be a major source of pride for the glass walls. Yeah, I don't think the walls themselves ever fall. Like, the city remains standing. But I think the backup arrives to try and fight. So they've suffered losses. So they would probably want more. They would probably want the backup of their own, wouldn't they? Oh, I forgot to mute when I left. Did you hear anything while I was gone? A dog. Ah, yes. Sure. The siege on the wall continued for how long should the siege continue before backup arrives to try and bail them out? Could the siege go on for a couple more days or a week even? Two weeks at least, before backup arrives. Yeah. Continued for... Here's the tea. Oh, 1 second. Will last. Perhaps support coming in over the walls of secret tunnels. Anyway. The siege on the wall continued for 2 more weeks, and the situation inside the city became harsh. What kind of government system do you think would develop after they declare independence? And how would it evolve during the siege? I think if Glasswall had enough supplies, they could last a while. And because of how difficult it is to get stuff anywhere in the West, I think it's feasible to believe that cities have like just a lot of supplies with them. They just keep them in just in case. Most medieval cities kept major food supplies in case of siege, I think that technically would be like that. So there would be some supplies. Some would be lost to the gladiator slave rebellion. Yeah. They had emergency supplies which were being rationed as best as they could. So a lot, but not as much as there should be. But a lot of them had been burned. Not burned, not like literally burned. All of them had been not expired. Like they used them, had been used up during the rebellion. The situation would be perhaps looted is the best word. Had been looted during the rebellion, and the instability afterwards made bringing supplies in to replenish it difficult. So I think whatever government system they had in place would be fragile at best. I'm just thinking, like, do we want there to be I don't know, some kind of military takeover here, or are we sticking with, like, I don't know, democracy? Do you think that's what they would go with after declaring independence? What about the demagogue? I'm researching so many things this stream. Demagogue. Like Archibaldi. That would probably be a great explanation if I had any idea who Archibaldi is. A political leader who seeks support by appealing to the desires and prejudices of ordinary people rather than using rational arguments. I think that would be, that. He sucked personally, but he was good at crisis management. So, a political leader who seeks support by appealing. I just read that. Why am I reading it again? A political leader in a democracy who gains popularity by arousing the common people against elite, especially through oratory that whips up the passions of the crowd, appealing to emotion by scapegoating out groups, exaggerating dangers to stoke fears, lying for emotional effect. Yes. So, halfway through the second week of the siege, backup came to support the glass wall forces. Okay, so an idea. The glass wall forces, the supporters of glass wall come in to try and help, but then the backup for the combined Kathagi forces come in just a little bit later and start attacking the backup that just came for glass wall. And so the glass wall forces have to retreat. And then they come back in, and I think while the combined Kathagi forces could theoretically win, they were taking too many losses, and it would have been a risk anyway. It was just better to pull back and try again another day rather than commit that many forces. Had to retreat and regroup. Yeah. Like, while they could have stayed and fought, and they might have won, and they might have even stood a good chance at winning. But they just... It was just smarter, more economical to pull back, to retreat and regroup. But as they charged in, more forces came in to support the combined Kathagi forces. The glass wall support got the minute. How close is glass wall to water? Will the Kathagi Navy be an issue? I don't think we decided actually whereabouts glass wall was. I mean, we know it has to be like in the north, because that's where the Marvin's blood machine is. So it's somewhere like around here, I think. Maybe like down here, the lowest. Do we want the Navy to be considered, like a consideration? It's also next to a volcano, if that helps. Yeah, that's where the obsidian came from. I'm surprised. The glass wall support surprised the Kathagi forces at the wall, getting a decisive opening victory. Probably best to put it inland, just so it is just an army thing. Make it easier for glass wall to win. Yeah. Getting a decisive opening victory. However, the Kathagi reinforcements approached from behind, getting the drop on them, and surrounding them. after once the chaos of the opening attack dissipated, the GredtheAceAllay forces allowed the glass wall support to retreat. Because once the surprise is gone, if the enemy starts to try and regroup, that could be bad for them. So they just want to be like, all right, you can leave, get out, then we can focus on the wall. And then the glass wall support just want to get out of the slaughter. So they take the exit. Okay. So, with reinforcements, the combined GredtheAceAllay forces were reinvigorated in their assault. So what does it look like for glass wall? Like now that the new forces are in with artillery this time. Despite probably bad, so they have to do something daring. Despite the assault from the glass wall support, much of their artillery survived. So are they going to try and deal with the artillery? Maybe prepare for evacuation? Like this sort of opening battle, by the end of it, no one's really won. Like, sure, glass wall's still there, but they've lost a lot of forces and they nearly lost the city. Moving everyone underground? They'd have to have enough places underground to move them. A night raid on the enemy camp, or perhaps a sabotage of the artillery. In desperation. That's sort of what I was thinking, also. In desperation? Well, preparing to evacuate the civilians. In desperation, they started to prepare to evacuate many of the civilians. However, the pride and nationalism stoked up by, what do we name their leader? Their demagogue. Alistair. Is that how you spell Alistair? Dr. Back. So Alistair. What vibes does Glasswall have? I'm not sure. I don't know. Alistair Devenot. Oh, they're French. I don't know this. Alistair Devenot. Or Creole. Do we prefer Devenot or Creole? I can pronounce. Am I pronouncing that right? Devenot. Or is that just completely wrong? During the rebellion. Creole is a group in Louisiana. Were you suggesting Creole as a last name or suggesting Creole as in Creole, not French? Had only grown and people were not ready to surrender so soon after the victory. A daring assault was planned with no shortage of volunteers. As like cultural vibe, nothing concrete, but as a core idea. Fair enough. I've never heard of that group, but we can run with it. I might have a look at it after stream. The daring assault was planned with no shortage of volunteers, despite the suicidal nature of it. The plan was to sneak out under cover of night, using the many tunnels under cover of the night, and raid the enemy camp. There were a variety of potential targets, all given to separate groups, so that even if one failed, the rest had a chance at success. These targets included the enemy command tent. Why do I keep misspelling there? The artillery and the ammunition storage. How does this, we've got 5 minutes left of stream. How does this raid go? Does it go well? Does it go partially well? Or is it a complete failure? Like, do some things work and some things don't? What do you think? About half of them succeed. The assassination of the commanders was ultimately a failure. But most of the artillery guns were sabotaged in some way, and the what's it called? Ammunition storage was destroyed, leaving very little of use behind. Areas to follow and dive towards. Yeah, so the entire party heading to the command tent was arrested and publicly executed in full view of the wall. As well as some of the members from the other parties, though a few made it back alive to report success. These heroes and martyrs executed only served to galvanize support and morale, the opposite of what the Carthage Empire aimed to do with these executions. Percebeth, you're good at these, but yeah, Tosa, if you can too. What can we come up with a really cool quote that one of these martyrs could say, or supposedly say, just before they're executed? It doesn't really matter who said them, but we can just say that they claim to have said that this person said it. Everything for the nation. One of the executed was reported to have cried. Everything for the nation, nothing for the oppressors. Before being shot by the firing squad. Who cares if it's completely unrealistic that they would have been heard? Who cares about that? Because all that matters is that people say they did. It can be like one of those Mandela effect things. But anyway, if you kill me, I'll be reincarnated into the armies that mass against you. I won't live on in this city and its fight for liberty. Feels a bit long. Like they're saying this just before they get executed. It feels a bit long-winded and wordy. Anyway, let's stop screen. That could be in a letter left behind for a lover by a martyr. Ooh, that's a good idea. 1 second, I'll make a note of that. Maybe letter. If you kill me, I will be reincarnated inside the armies that mass against you. I will live on in this city and it fight for liberty. Okay. We can probably work on some of the wording of those quotes if we need to, and then on Thursday we can get some more work done. But it's 3 minutes past when I usually end stream, but I guess this is special Tuesday stream, so we can run a little bit over. It's fine. But thank you for coming to stream. Thank you for all your ideas. It's great to have you as usual. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Percebeth. I'd say have a nice week, but I'm coming back on Thursday. So have a nice 2 days, or if I don't see you on Thursday, have a nice week.